Seth Rollins is Raw's top babyface, or at least he's supposed to be. However, it seems as if the WWE Universe is growing tired with the Architect's act. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 9 reasons why the fans are turning on Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, a WWE superstar who quickly rose to fame as a member of The Shield, then became one of the most hated men in wrestling when he betrayed his Shield brethren to the Authority. Rollins enjoyed a lengthy reign as WWE World Heavyweight Champion until an injury sidelined him. Upon his return, he won the WWE Championship, ultimately turning babyface and joining the ranks of WWE's top babyfaces. Recently, however, Rollins hasn't been over as much with the fans. Why? Well, let's tell you why. Number 1. His interviews can be downright awful. Seth Rollins has charisma and an ability to talk. The problem he has to deal with the garbage that WWE writers feed him every week, and as the saying goes, garbage in, garbage out. If the WWE allows Rollins to speak on his own, this problem could go away. Rollins is clearly passionate about his craft and the industry he works in, so he should be given the opportunity to speak his own words with the same passion. Number 2. He never regained his main event status. Now, anyone who thinks Seth Rollins lacks any talent needs to review his run as the Authority's champion from 2014 to 2015. Rollins played the diabolical heel perfectly, stealing wins from opponents and showing he knows exactly how to press the fans' buttons and get them coming back to see his comeuppance. Unfortunately, Rollins lost a step after his babyface turn and he took a backseat to Roman Reigns when it came to chasing the Universal Championship. Whatever his motivation, Vince McMahon seemed to sour on Rollins as a main eventer, and only when it looked like Reigns might have been out of wrestling for good did Vince McMahon put Rollins back into the main event. The fans just don't buy Rollins as a true main eventer. Instead, he's like a backup quarterback who does a decent job, but who fans know will be gone once the first string quarterback returns. Number 3. He's overexposed. Seth Rollins is currently the Red Brand's top guy, so it only makes sense for him to appear on WWE TV on a regular basis. In fact, one of the complaints about Brock Lesnar during his previous Universal Championship reigns was that he rarely appeared on television. In typical WWE fashion, the company went the opposite route with Rollins, putting him on TV too much and exposing his weaknesses. This being his poorly written promos and any of the other bullet points in this video. Wrestling fans are notorious for being fickle, and they tend to push back if they feel someone is being shoved down their throats. The same thing happened with Roman Reigns, and now it seems as if it's Rollins' turn. Number 4. His social media rants are annoying. While Wrestlelamia never gets into political issues, at least outside of wrestling, Seth Rollins is like a certain US politician whose Twitter posts often end up creating a firestorm of controversy. Likewise with Rollins, who doesn't know when to shut up when it comes to taking criticism on social media, the B-Slayer, or should we say the Keyboard Slayer, recently engaged in a war of words with New Japan Pro Wrestling's Will Ospreay after Ospreay challenged Rollins' claim that he works in the best pro wrestling company in the world. Consider this exchange. Ospreay tweeted, "Fact of the day, Will Ospreay wrestled more matches in 2019 than Seth Rollins. Catch up, little guy." To which Rollins replied, "I mean, if you want to talk numbers, we can compare bank accounts too. P.S. That's counting a month off with a broken back." Rollins was criticized by fans along with Pro Wrestling Torch editor Wade Keller, who thought Rollins should have taken the high road. Keller tweeted, "This isn't a good turn at all if he wants to get people who love good wrestling, regardless of brand, to feel goodwill toward WWE strengths and its vocal leader. Buddy? Little guy? Disappointing and character-defining condescension. This is heel Corbin promo content." Rollins then replied to Keller, saying, "I don't care about the goodwill, Wade. I care about respect." Rollins also added that if some kid who thinks he's got it all figured out wants to step to me, then he's got to get patted on the head and sent on his way. And so will you. Rollins continued digging a hole for himself, but finally relented, while rumour has it WWE higher-ups intervened, but this hasn't been confirmed. To his credit, Rollins eventually apologized to Ospreay, but Rollins continues to babble on with rants typically boiling down to number 1, how great the WWE is, number 2, how ignorant fans are, and number 3, how everyone outside the WWE stinks. Number 5, he's been a babyface too long. Rollins has been a babyface since 2016, and while he's done a good job playing the hero, his act is getting stale in this role. Rollins is arguably one of those wrestlers who can play face and heel, but who excels at playing a heel, as opposed to someone like Randy Orton who just plain sucks as a babyface. With This Is a Stupid Name OC rising to prominence as heels, the Red brand could use a top heel who does things on his own. Fans enjoy variety, and although some superstars can play babyfaces for lengthy periods, such as John Cena, Rollins needs to change things up if he wants to reconnect with the fans. Number 6. He's been misbooked. As we've said more than once, Seth Rollins is a talented wrestler. There's definitely no doubt about that. But history has shown that a wrestler is only as good as their opponent. Main event wrestlers need to face top challengers, and Baron Corbin was anything but a top challenger. Corbin should either have fought Rollins on TV or been put into a one-and-done pay-per-view series. Any smart booker will halt a program if it's an obvious dog, and the Rollins-Corbin series was just that. Rollins' Universal Championship got off to a bad start and it never recovered. His only hope for now is a clean win over Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam for the title, but that seems doubtful. Number 7. The fans really don't care about him and Becky Lynch, bordering on cringeworthy. No wait, strike that. It is cringeworthy. Now while it's always good to see wrestlers finding love, it's obvious that the WWE Universe doesn't care all that much about Seth and Becky's budding romance. Putting them into a mixed tag team match at Extreme Rules was a novel way to continue their abominable respective programs with Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans, but the match died as soon as the bell rang. Brad Shepard noted on Twitter, you're all aware who Brad Shepard is. Did anyone else notice the mixed reaction for Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch? Shepard's observations led to replies from fans such as, and yes Mr. Shepard, because the fans know that the on-screen relationship serves as much importance as Shane McMahon. There are different opinions about whether Becky Lynch is losing her momentum amongst fans, although her feud with Lacey Evans certainly didn't help her establish her as a dominant star. Number 8. He takes himself too seriously. Whether it's his social media rants or his promos, Seth Rollins is beginning to sound like the president of the Seth Rollins fan club, a guy who thinks wrestling begins and ends with him. He's also not above criticizing the people who pay his salary, i.e. the fans. It's nothing new for Rollins, who took to Twitter in 2016 after fans booed the Universal Championship belt's appearance, saying, "More important than a title's appearance is what it represents for the men fighting over it. You really let me down tonight, Brooklyn." Rollins' response in interviews and social media furthered the idea that he's his biggest fan. Ego is an important part of success in professional sports, but Rollins' ego has him talking stupid. Consider a recent remark Seth Rollins made during a SummerSlam conference call when asked about Jon Moxley going to All Elite Wrestling. "I was surprised by it. I knew Ambrose needed time away from WWE. Now he's competition and trying to take dinner off my table? Good on him." Rollins' comments are simply absurd, as the WWE has been in a dominant position for decades, and the competition from AEW is already helping expand financial opportunities for wrestlers. His comments are a reflection of our next point, another reason why fans seem to be souring on his act. As number 9, he's become a corporate yes man. While it's expected that one of the top WWE superstars would take it upon himself to defend the company against the competition, he's starting to sound like nothing more than a yes man, i.e. a person who agrees with everything that is said, especially one who endorses or supports without criticism every opinion or proposal of an associate or superior. Sure sounds a lot like Rollins. Rollins thinks that WWE can do no wrong, as seen by comments he made in a recent interview with Yahoo Sports, when he asked if people think it's cool to hate the WWE. We're the New York Yankees. It's easy to hate New England Patriots. We're those teams. We're the dynasty. It's easy to hate us, but we're still the most popular company in the world at what we do. We're so far beyond being a wrestling company that it's very easy to point the finger and hate on us. That's the cool thing to do. It makes perfect sense to me. It's how it's always been in sports and entertainment. You always hate the big guy. It's fine. I'm not upset about it at all. Sports Illustrated's Blake Ostreicher commented on Rollins' interview, shrewdly breaking down why Rollins was flat out wrong. Truth be told, there is no real excuse as to why WWE, which has all the money, the creative brainpower and the talent in the world, should be putting on anything other than a fantastic product on a consistent basis. Instead, WWE is often delivering a product that is underwhelming at best and downright terrible at worst, one that overlooks too many superstars, Asuka, Rusev, etc., focuses on ones it shouldn't be, Shane, The Undertaker, etc., misguidedly uses short-term fixes, the use of part-time stars or the wildcard rule for example, and frequently fails to produce entertaining programming. So no, the WWE isn't the Yankees or the Patriots. it's any team with high expectations that fails to live up to them. Simply put, Rollins is making statements that lack credibility, and wrestling fans can tell when someone's trying to bamboozle them. As long as Rollins continues playing WWE shill, the fans' opinion of him will continue to diminish. But there you have it guys, why fans are turning on Seth Rollins. What's your current standpoint on Rollins? Do you love him or hate him? Let us know your opinion in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time for some more wrestling content.